The Bridge 99 FM, the station designed to reach out to Jamaicans and Jamaican lovers all over the world, targeting the diaspora, targeting the home market. The Bridge 99 FM, the public eye and the open mind, welcomes you to the Jamaica Stock Exchange Conference for 2023, hosted at the Pegasus Hotel in Kingston, hosted at a time of turmoil and difficulty for many, and also great opportunity for all those who wish to see the thriving of this country and the flourishing of all of us. I'm RonnieThwaites, happy to be with you. The Honorable Pearnel Charles, Senior, Order of Jamaica, is the co-host on this program. We come from different political, racial and religious backgrounds, but we have an abiding passion for the good of Jamaica, for its prosperous future. We thank you for joining us on the public eye. All of the interviewees today are participants in this important conference, this annual event, which has become a signal exercise to look forward for Jamaica's prosperity and progress. And then at 1 o'clock, we join our partners in New York, Irie Jam, for the global connection, and more on finance, more on the opportunities to make honest money, to provide jobs, to lift up all that is good in our country. Thank you so much for joining us. It's the only station of its kind. It's the only program of its order, the public eye on the Bridge 99 FM. Mr. Charles, morning, sir. How are you?
I am very, very happy to be here.
Yes.
Particularly having the privilege to meet this
Mrs. Marlene Streete-Forrest. Hello, Mrs. Streete-Forrest. Welcome.
I have to tell you that you are here at the right time, at the right station, with the right connection, straight across the world, because this time needs to be explained what is going on, and you are the right person with the right man on my right.
What a responsibility. Mrs. Marlene Streete-Forrest, the Stock Exchange Conference has become an epic event in Jamaica's financial panorama every year. This year, what's special? What's happening?
Well,
set the stage for us.
This year, we are saying we are pretty much out of a pandemic. We are broadening and deepening our capital markets, and we have to look at how we reimagine, as our team says, and to really get what would be considered impossible out of our markets. As our markets move, as the world is not static, we have to see what are the things that we can put in place to leverage, to get the best from our players. And even, I would say, we also have to go back to basics. The basics in terms of transparency, the basics in terms of confidence in the market. So as you said, Mr. Charles, it is at the right time where we again exhort, so to speak, persons to look with integrity at how we deliver in terms of our capital markets.
Who invests on the Jamaica Stock Exchange?
All actors, quite a number. So we have persons in Jamaica, if you are talking about the demographics, young people, mature individuals, rich and poor.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, tell me if you agree with me, Mr. Trade Unionist, is the hope for equality, better equality in this country.
Democratizing.
Yes? The capitalist system is of its nature exclusive and exclusory. Yes? But when the ordinary person has a chance not only to get a wage increase brokered by the likes of the Honorable Pearnel Charles, but rather to invest in the company he or she works with or in any other, then you democratize wealth?
You democratize wealth.
Yes.
And let me say this. We have been, as crusaders, encouraging people to invest in the capital market, invest in the stock market. So it is important that we build this confidence and they trust us, because we have really been going out there and saying to them, look, wealth can be created by using the capital market, and we don't want to destroy that. That is important to us.
You said a while ago,
yes,
to the answer to Ronnie, Jamaica stock market. Now, can you tell us whether people right across the world are participating or can participate or are being encouraged to participate in the stock in Jamaica?
Right across the world, based on our efforts, people are participating in the stock market. And you know what we have done, we have used technology to allow that. So we have the online trading platform. So anywhere you are, if it's New York, if it is China, we have participants from as far as that, Germany, they can participate in buying securities on our market.
And finish that by expressing confidence in the stock market, separating it from what anybody else is hearing. Welcome, bring them in now because you are number one. We were the best performing stock market in 2015 and 2018, number 4 in 2019, and we continue to put things in place to ensure that we build that confidence. I want to quickly say that even now with the turmoil that is happening, what we have done, we have created a customer online portal that will allow every single investor in the stock market to go on that portal and look at their accounts. So if they see anything like that, that is not like it, they can query it. If they want to know how much dividends did I get in terms of companies right throughout the years, they can do that. So they can interrogate the system, they can change their account numbers, obviously there are controls, etc. But it allows so that, I'm going to go a little further, that come the end of February, every transaction that takes place, if you should sell your shares, you are going to get an SMS message.
Yes.
That says to you, something happened, you sold your shares. If you bought anything that happens, it confirms it.
This program and this station beams particularly to the Jamaican diaspora all over the world.
Yes.
What's the word to the Jamaican abroad? Maybe first, maybe second, third generation Mrs. Marlene Streete-Forrest, who has a choice to invest in one of the major banks somewhere, but also has a tug in their heart and a yearning elsewhere to participate in the Jamaican capital market. Are you worthy of the trust? What is the way they should do it?
They should have confidence in us because we are well regulated. We understand that they have worked long, and I want to underscore that, long and hard for their monies. And as a result of that, we will do everything to ensure that there is a fair, efficient, ethical, and transparent stock market.
And the bridge number one.
And the bridge number one
is giving this to the world.
Giving that, sure.
Right.
Is the capital market growing? One has the impression that we were seeing many new listings in previous years, but maybe COVID has kind of coalted that game. What's a prospect?
COVID coalted the game for the year or two. But even when COVID coalted that game, I am happy to say that people were still working. So they were still working. So just now we had a listing last week.
Good.
And I am told that we should have another probably 10, 15 listings. You know, we are now at 47 companies listed on the junior market.
Yeah.
In total, we have 154 securities, and we have 102 companies listed across the markets. So that's fantastic. I remember when you and I used to talk, we'd have probably 30 companies, etc.
Yeah.
So we are doing well, and that is because of confidence that has been placed in us.
Yes.
And we have not let down persons, whether from the standpoint of the companies or the investors until now.
It's leadership.
Go ahead.
The leadership that you and your colleagues
has same point I was going to make. A lot of that confidence resides in you, ma'am.
You have done for this country and from our people right around the world what very few, maybe men like Ronnie, could try. But I wouldn't be able to do.
That's so important that we can identify that you're there, others are there of your ilk, who, if a person has a query, has a concern, It can be answered.
Yes.
Yes. It is.
It is a
Jamaica is
team.
worthy of trust.
It is worthy of trust.
Yeah.
And remember, we're talking about the SDG goals, and we're talking about a place to live, work, and build family, and whatever it is that we say. And we really must mean it. We must mean that every one of us must work towards getting that happening.
Tell me the word.
That's what I want you
Yeah.
to say to the world,
She's
not
done
only
it.
Jamaicans right across,
Yeah.
that what is happening beside you
Yeah.
does not disrupt or disturb. You use this to get more confidence in the stock market.
Well, the stock market is safe. The stock market is secure. And we try every day. You know, we have the best surveillance system in the world, powered by NASDAQ. And we try every day to
Powered by NASDAQ. Important.
by
Yeah,
NASDAQ.
International
Somebody's asked
pedigree.
me. Somebody's asked me what does that mean.
NASDAQ means
NASDAQ is one of the
world
world's,
pedigreed.
pedigree market, and also in terms of the sort of technology in respect to trading on an exchange, etc.
Tell me something. People making money.
Watched.
Yes. People making money from investing in the stock exchange. That's what people want to know.
We have actually made millionaires of many persons. And I want to anecdotally...
Here in Jamaica?
Here in Jamaica. I want to
And we need to find
anecdotally
out.
tell you about my barber. He knows the language of the market. He invests in the market. You know, he said to me, I get my statements from the stock exchange. And every person now, because we have invested heavily in market education,
Yeah.
most persons now, you ask about the market, they understand that wealth can be created. They can be part owners of a company, because that is what it is.
Yes.
And insofar as those companies are doing well, they are going to be doing well.
I need to tell you a little anecdote before we close to make your point. Years ago, as I was a director of one of the major listed companies, and I walked into one of their plants on a tour, and I didn't put on the proper corrective gear. And a little man, a little worker, janitor of some sort, he hauled me back, and I felt I was almost assaulted. And he said, no, you have to go in there in the proper clothes, because I am a part owner of this company.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And he was giving protection to his
He was giving
ownership
protection to his
as-
investment.
His investment.
That's the
others.
story of this
Yes,
country.
that is
That's
good.
the future.
That
Mrs.
is the
Marlene
future.
Streete-Forrest, what a pleasure, ma'am.
It is
Thanks
always
again.
a pleasure, and
Indeed.
really we want those persons listening
Yes.
to know that we are there for them,
Yes.
and we want to see them create wealth and sustain wealth.
And you'll understand why I really want to encourage you. In the future, part of that education process, take it to the schools.
Yes.
Every school child in Jamaica must know that this is a prospect for honest wealth.
But I could go on about the schools, because you know we are in all the high schools in Jamaica, every single
Yeah.
one, but at the 6th, 5th and 6th form level. But we have a program coming soon where we'll be there from the primary schools.
Lovely.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being with us.
It was a pleasure.
This is a Bridge 99 FM. This is a Public Eye with Pearnel Charles and myself, Mrs. Marlene Streete-Forrest, the well-esteemed Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. We're with their annual conference here at the Pegasus Hotel. This is a Bridge. We soon come back. Welcome back to the Stock Exchange Conference, being broadcast on the Bridge 99. This is a Public Eye with Pearnel Charles and myself. And welcome to Mr. Cedric Charles, Senior Manager for Investment Banking Services at the Bank of St. Lucia. Listen to me. Hey, thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's about time that we repair the federal image, you know. Yes? Don't you think?
I think so.
Yes, man.
Definitely.
Look at one Charles and another Charles here.
And you never know.
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
The way you-
Indeed.
Why are you here, Mr. Cedric Charles?
Well, I'm here to visit the conference. It is the largest regional investment and capital markets conference in our region. And it's an opportunity for us in St. Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean to get an experience of what it's like to be a part of such a huge conference of that nature, especially in the capital markets. So this is why I'm here.
Every time we hear the word regional, some of us feel depressed. because the regional aspirations have been so strong and they have waned so much. We never know what's real. Tell us about the capital market in St. Lucia, the work that you do at the bank there, and what are the prospects for interaction, for cross-border trades? Are we really one people?
I think we are, and hence the reason why I am here. We want to collaborate with the Jamaica Stock Exchange on a few initiatives. One primarily is the launching of a collective investment scheme where we can work together and collaborate.
A collective investment scheme?
Yes. One in the Eastern Caribbean and possibly throughout the region. So this is a one way in which you get and see regional collaboration, which we will experience in the coming months. So I think it's regional integration is alive. I think it is growing. I think we got to appreciate that during the great pandemic that we all experienced, and we got to appreciate that we need to be a sustainable group in our jurisdiction. So I think it's important for us to see that and try to push collaboration.
What do people in St. Lucia invest in?
Primarily fixed income paper, which is primarily bonds and treasury bills and CDs.
In other words, they trade with the government.
Yes, primarily with the sovereign entities in the region, but you do get investments in equities like the utility companies and the financial institutions as well. But a majority of the financial activity is driven by fixed income instruments, which is pushed by, the sovereign entities, the governments in the Eastern Caribbean.
But there's more money to be made.
Yes.
In equities, in corporate equities.
Yes, there is.
Private sector ventures.
Yes.
And I'm just longing for the day, Pearnel Charles, when a St. Lucian will feel as comfortable investing in a Jamaican company, and vice versa.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Yes.
Where your enterprises will want to list on the Jamaican Stock Exchange because it's more developed.
Correct.
And that we will want to invest venture capital in your entities, in your
Right.
country.
Right.
Is that a pipe dream, or is it a possibility?
No, I believe that is a future realization. And I say that because when you see where we are, where we come from, right? We've made strides. I mean, there's always a saying, before you can run, you have to crawl, So you take the small steps, and I am here, which is a testimony to the fact that we want to collaborate. We want to grow together because it is one Caribbean, but then it takes time. It's a process, it's a process of understanding, a process of familiarization, because as much as we want Caribbean, we have our own uniqueness, which we have to appreciate.
Sure.
But we grow with that. We understand that in order for us to grow and remain sustained, we have to do it together.
Yes.
I think that would be fair to say that the younger generation, your generation, are looking at collaboration separately, not necessarily political, but
Right.
more industrial and technology.
Sure.
It's
Economic.
putting us together. Education
Yeah.
is a different approach, but we are going in a direction where we are together, and that is one of the wonderful
Look
things
here,
about it.
let's press that point, Cedric Charles, because the mistake we made with the first federation is that we started with the political.
That's correct.
Yes.
What we need to do is to make sure that we have the groundwork there. That is why we dream of participation. That's why we welcome somebody like yourself.
You're right.
We don't only want to hear of our diaspora or our brethren in other parts of the world.
Right.
Within the Caribbean, this is a critical mass.
Right.
And if we are all or more of us earning from participation in the economy, yes, well, my goodness, then we will decide that we can share a house together.
Of course.
Ronnie, fair to say that there was only a political presentation,
Yes.
and 2/3 or rather 4/5 of the people
Yes.
never felt that they had anything political in there to get.
Yes.
Now,
Right.
The industrial approach and the educational approach, it involves 100% of the people. Everybody.
So we have the university, we have the cricket team,
Exactly.
we have the stock market. My goodness, and that one is the most powerful because it puts money in people's place.
Yes.
And that is the one that is going to do the thing, because people feel that they're getting something out of this collaboration.
Right, and what we have to be mindful of, what drives everything now, which we didn't have in the time of the West Indies Federation, is technology.
Yes.
And the ability for everyone to access and communicate, which is something we never had before. And that is going to be a driver. And if you have been following the recent developments, you would see that with the exchange has made strides from the perspective of technology. So whichever country you are in, you can access your positions, you can see what you have invested in. So you could be in St. Lucia, Grenada, Guyana, and you have access to these exchanges. And that is all driven by technology, which is really pushing this agenda, and it's pushing us to be closer, be a closer knit network. And I think that's important. That's a critical point.
Are you meeting the people here with whom you can interact, with whom you can contact after you go back to St. Lucia?
Oh, most
you
definitely.
Can introduce to others. But
Most
that's what
definitely.
makes it, it's
Yes.
a personal contact.
Yes,
That
that's
makes it
important.
worthwhile.
That's very, very important. That networking, which you cannot do over Zoom or Teams,
Yes.
is very, very critical.
Yeah.
You meet people and people get to see you, because face-to-face interaction is very, very important.
And one thing I can assure you, based on what Street just a while ago,
Mrs.
is that
Streete-Forrest, yeah.
we are prepared and we are willing, more than the former politicians, we are prepared in Jamaica to transmit this technology and this industrial development
And are worthy
right
of
across.
trust.
And we
And are
expect
worthy
that
of
we can
trust.
shake hand on that.
That's important. Mr. Cedric Charles, welcome to Jamaica.
Thank you,
We're not going
thank
to keep
you.
you here.
Beautiful
but
country.
We want to really relate to you and
Okay.
treat you as family.
Yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank
All
you,
the
thank
best
you
to
very
you
much
for
for
joining
having
us.
me.
Good.
Okay,
Mr.
so we
Cedric
will
Charles.
talk afterward.
Oh,
because
definitely.
we may find a connection.
Yes, we may. All right, take
Well, you
care.
see, that's another aspect of the Caribbean connection that we have, because the whole of you people, especially those named Charles, seem to have propagated yourself all around the place.
Yeah, but I told you about it earlier, right? That there was a connection.
Yes,
somewhere.
clearly. Mr. Cedric Charles, Senior Manager for Investment Banking Services at the Bank of St. Lucia. Pearnel Charles and myself on the public eye. We're having fun. We'll soon come back. This is the Bridge 99 FM. Thanks for being with us at the Pegasus Hotel. This epic annual event, the Jamaica Stock Exchange Conference, drawing people from all over the world, drawing people from all over the region, encouraging investment in the capital market, debunking the notion, the Honorable Pearnel Charles and Miss Nora Blake, that the stock exchange and the capital market is only for rich people. Anybody can engage in this at whatever level. Yes, what they used to have in America, they call penny stocks. Well,
What they say is not only for rich people, but to make everybody rich.
well, you see, you put it well. But then you see, there is this brand, well, not brand new anymore, but still new, innovative element of the stock exchange called the social stock exchange, Nora Blake. And you're going to tell us what that is and how that is doing. A whole heap of our social prospects in this country hang upon the success of your enterprise, you know.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Reverend.
Always
Thank you for
welcome.
having me, Minister Charles. Yes, the pleasure is mine. And before I start, let me just say thanks to Bridge, because we had a telethon, our first annual telethon in December, and Bridge came on as a sponsor and supported us to bring the message to the diaspora.
That's what we should do. Thank you. Glad to have done
I
that.
believe we'll have an ongoing
Very
relationship
good.
too, based on
Yes.
what your managing director said.
Sure. Good.
Because I think there's an agenda to reach into the communities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the social stock exchange, what is it? It's the newest subsidiary of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, which was patterned off the first social stock exchange that was designed by the Brazilian Stock Exchange some years ago. The JSC is a part of what they have at the United Nations as a group of sustainable stock exchanges. So you see where we're going. Once you think or hear sustainable, you know, it's not just about the bottom line. You know, getting into the triple bottom line where you're looking at the planet, you're looking at the people, you're looking at stuff like peace and partnership, all the P's that come with the sustainable development goals, of which there are 17, that the social stock exchange is totally committed to. Now, we do not necessarily call them sustainable development goals in the social sector in Jamaica, but you have a lot of interventions from ever since that are doing good work in the social sector, whether it's towards education, towards health, towards the environment, whether it is to create employment or alleviation of poverty. All of those things come under the 17 goals for sustainable development, yes. So basically what the social stock exchange is seeking to do is to bring a system that will facilitate the social sector becoming more sustainable. So they're doing a lot of good work, but you find that the common call or cry is that they don't have sufficient funding to be sustainable.
Yes.
Yeah? So the social stock exchange will operate just like the stock exchange in that it's a market where we will take social entities to the market and make a demand on the market. So when you have a new company like Dollar went to market, you're making a demand on the market for them to buy into Dollar, and so money flow into Dollar. On the social stock exchange, it's the same. We have a very good system of governance patterned off the stock exchange in terms of how we operate. We have a board, we have a selection and listing committee of the board, and so we have on our side good governance, and we require good governance from the social sector. And so applications are made to the social stock exchange to become a selected and then a listed project on the stock exchange.
And you help the social enterprise to put themselves in order.
Well, in making an application, that's the first step.
Yes.
In making an application, if you do not measure up to the standard, we certainly will assist you, because we are not about rejecting, we're about building out a sector.
Clearly.
So part of what we do, part of our remit is actually capacity building. It's not just the mobilization of capital.
So that people listening to us, people with a philanthropic or social objective, whether it's alumni from the schools, as we always speak to, or those who want to help in the healthcare services, or to challenge people, as I know you already have on your listing, they needn't feel that they are unable. They can come to you and say, help us with capacity building.
We are designed for that. So even if you were not selected to be a project listed on the social exchange, we will still make available to you the training, the capacity building that we have on the social stock exchange.
This is important
platform.
to know. What this does, let's state it. The social stock exchange gives an ethical nobility to the money-making side of the stock exchange. Yes? No, seriously.
You have a way with words that I don't, Reverend.
You know, you're so right. He's an intellectual.
Great.
But the message he's sending,
the
message he's sending is to particularly the younger generation.
Yes. And people.
And coming together in, as we have said earlier, in this technological age. And your willingness.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I'm so proud to listen to both of you women here. Because
thank you.
Jamaica is in a very nervous section, and listening to you, my nerve has been stabilized. So I'm sure that many who are listening are stabilized by your presentation. Now you need to invite them and tell us, Ronnie would want to know, how far do you go in the young generation in teaching?
And give us some examples. I was so proud of the DEFCON.
The DEFCON.
Yes.
So we don't have an age barrier at all in terms of the group that you will impact. I mean, we wouldn't expect a group of children to be able to bring a project. So let me just back up a little bit. So the social stock exchange will operate 2 platforms. We're currently operating the first phase, which is our first market, which is for projects that will receive donations, financial donations. So we are a sophisticated crowdfunding in this first market. So there will be no financial return to that social investor. What they will be doing is a donation into the projects that we have selected, that we have put our stamp on, that we are committed to monitor on behalf of the investor. So we'll give you your reports on the platform. At any time you can go on to see how the project is progressing, to be able to see how the financial reports look every quarter, and to see that we are actually mentoring and bringing them along. Now, as soon as legislation comes in, which we expect this year, we will open the second market for the social enterprises. Those now are businesses that have a social mission. That's their primary reason for existing. Not the profiteering or surplusing, but because they're businesses, they will. So they're trading either a good or a service. But primarily their mission is whatever it is. Let's take DEFCON as the example.
Sure.
That was one of the 5 projects that we had selected when we started. It is now one of 2 projects that has been fully funded and is off the platform.
This is a group of deaf people,
yes,
who are involved in doing business within specialty coffee. Yes, so
Correct.
They have a business side of it, but their purpose is not to declare a dividend for their shareholders, but to ensure upliftment of the deaf community.
The deaf community. So
Yes.
they provided employment. In fact, they're a faith-based organization.
Yeah. Well, look at the
Started
prospects,
out-
Pearnel. Look at how the institutions are adjusting themselves to meet the felt needs of a society. Not just for people who are shareholders, all well and
That's
good,
right.
to make a lot of money, but
That's
to
right.
say, but hold on now, let's bring everybody else with us
That's right.
through a responsible vehicle, adding
At the stock
integrity to
exchange.
philanthropy.
This is
Adding
it.
integrity to
The
philanthropy.
transparency and accountability that we
you.
bring to the space
Listen, man, this is big stuff.
critical, as well as the capacity
Yeah,
building.
look at that.
Because you want to give confidence
Yes,
to your
yes.
social investor
Uh-huh.
that they're able, they're capable.
So we-
and of course to account for how the money is spent.
So we want to say to you now, we want to say to our diaspora audience, look here, if you are thinking of setting up a foundation,
Yes.
if you are thinking of some philanthropic contribution,
Yes.
why not route it through the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange? Get
And
in touch with them.
Let
Help
me
them.
just point out that they would need to have a local counterpart, of course.
Of course.
And of course, when the application comes in, there are some criteria. You know,
Sure.
you have to be registered.
Sure.
You have to be properly audited. Your financials must be in place because we're not irresponsible people, and
No.
we want success
Yeah.
in the social
But
sector.
I think Pearnel, I'm going to be pointed now for good reason. Take an organization like Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is a virtual Ministry of Social Security in Jamaica. No blame on the official one, but they simply have limitations. Food for the Poor needs the support of the Jamaican people, of the Jamaican corporate sector.
Yes,
Not
they
just
do,
somebody
I
who
would
says,
think.
oh, let's send them a little money.
Yes.
But rather, the structure of a stock exchange, social stock exchange input,
would facilitate,
yes, would facilitate,
expansion,
give
growth,
confidence.
if there's
Yes,
confidence.
yes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And this is the ultimate vision
Yes.
that for us, our mission would be the platform, that space that facilitate the stakeholders in the social sector that will help to grow the overall economy of Jamaica. So whatever is social could find a place on the platform of the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, whether it's a charity started at in Market One, where it's all about the nation, or it's a business that people can actually buy shares, equity in, because you're supporting a social mission.
Ronnie mentioned Food for the Poor, and it is very important because Food for the Poor is now probably fully or nearly fully supported by external
Yes.
support.
Yeah.
So in this social grouping that you have here,
Changing that, you're
this is
expanding.
where the Jamaica
Exactly.
man
Yes.
should be able to
Should
know.
have confidence
Have
that you
confidence.
can make
Because
your
the
social
truth is,
investment here.
We have other people taking care of our people, and we people don't even know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
this
Well-
would be,
well
in my
said.
opinion, Ronnie, a very important platform
Yes.
for Food for the Poor to get on, to be taught,
And there are many
and
others
get
like that.
The
get
possibilities are endless.
Yes.
Even the foundations
How
of
you
our
doing so
corporate
far?
entities. I'll tell you about that. Our value proposition is to, there are different segments of the market that
Yes.
we have a value proposition for. The
Sure.
Diaspora, Corporate Jamaica, the international development partners that we have, like the IDB. They collaborated with us when we set up.
Very good.
We're actually in a 3-year program with them now that is helping us to build our own capacity on the stock exchange, the social exchange, to be able to meet the needs. And of course, to the individual, who wants to participate in our social development.
my complaint, why, I'm ashamed to say that Ronnie seemed to have known, but I didn't know all
Why are
these
you
things
hiding
happening
your
here.
light under the bushel?
So, thanks to the bridge,
Yes.
and more stations should have been
And
sending this around to the Jamaican
and it is
people.
something that we crave. We
It's
crave the
fantastic.
support of the media, which is we consider one of the stakeholders in the ecosystem that we're trying to build
Sure.
out. So I think this year, though, we're hoping that there will be much more public education and awareness about the Jamaica Social
That is
Stock
the key
Exchange.
thing. That's the key
In
thing.
December, the event that we had in December, that Bridge came on board with us. We had, and that was primarily, we were trying to raise $33 million for the 3 projects that we have currently so that they can be listed to get operationalized this year. But also significantly, we wanted to be able to bring awareness. And through the telethon,
Yes.
I believe we were able to do quite a bit of that, even though Minister Charles says that he didn't know before
No.
today. But now he knows.
No, he knows. But tell me now,
So-
what's your target for this year? Give us a
I tell you
purview.
this year, we're starting out the year with a focus on the STAR project.
okay. Tell us
The
that.
STAR project, the social transformation and renewal project that
Uh-huh.
was ideated by
Okay.
PSOJ, or
Yes,
private sector
I do remember
organization.
that.
Yes,
Okay, yes.
where they're hoping to raise $2 billion to go into up to 20 communities over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
They are seeking to be a project that will be on the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange.
Really?
Yes, so
Okay.
that the funding will come through the exchange,
Uh-huh.
where we guarantee what we add to their project is the transparency, the accountability, the fact that we are oversighting
Yes.
for the investors.
Yes.
So they're going to be doing a major, call it an IPO,
Yes.
when we're ready to list, just like when whichever company comes to market, you have an initial placement
Mm-hmm. Public offer.
public offer, and that's what we're going to have for the STAR project. So that's going to be consuming our attention in the early part of
And
the
that's
year.
That's worthy too.
It's
And
more than worthy.
and we want to encourage. Jamaica seems to have endless capital to invest in every bond offer, every IPO.
Always
Yes?
oversubscribed,
Always.
right? So we want to see that happening in the
Well,
social
this is
sector,
it.
where we're saying
No.
we're getting so much, we're getting so much. Stop.
Yes,
No.
that's important.
Yes.
We want to support you. We want
Thank
to thank
you.
you.
Thank
Ms.
you
Hope
so
Blake,
much.
manager of the Jamaica Social
Thank
Stock
you.
Exchange.
And
Look at her smile.
thanks to all who supported the telethon. We're currently, our target was 33 million.
Yes.
We're currently at about 18.
Yes.
And we had extended it into January.
So let's hope and
Yes.
let's promote.
Yes, so
Thanks
thank
much
you
being
for
with
all the
us.
support, and
This
thank
is the
you
Public
for
Eye
having us.
on the Bridge 99 FM. Soon come. We're at the Stock Exchange today. You want to make money for your future. You want to do good for your people. Stay tuned. Soon come back. Thanks for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. It is a Public Eye. I'm RonnieThwaites. The Honorable Pearnel Charles O.J. is our co-host, and we welcome Keith Collister, Director of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce. Keith, hi. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And you're a regular at these conferences, aren't you?
I've been going for 17 years. I think I had to go virtual for
And tell me now.
one time.
Well, show us the arc of progress. What's happening? What's different? Why do you come year after year?
Well, basically the stock market here has really developed over that 17-year period. Basically, you've had a huge number of new listings, mainly junior stock exchange, but those are sort of like for the most part, are growth type companies, we hope. And, the market has developed a lot. And amongst other things, I also chair a pension fund, which has quite a lot of investments in stocks. But although my participation in this has been really as a journalist, so I've been basically coming as a journalist for all that time, and today I'm really a journalist again.
Well, we welcome you into the fraternity.
Yes, well,
This is a nervous time for
Yes,
Jamaican investors, and the nerves are attenuated when you think of the people we're speaking to abroad who have to rely on hearsay and secondhand.
Sure.
Both Pearnel and I are very anxious to
Sure.
get a fix from an independent person like yourself. How you see it? Is the stock exchange safe and sound? Is it worthy of our people abroad to say, no, I won't invest in this or that enterprise. I want to come home and put my money here. I can be safe and I can make profit and do good.
I mean, look, I think yes, the answer is yes. There has been a recent issue which I don't particularly want to go into today, but the truth is and I'm just wearing my other hat as a pension fund manager. The truth is, this issue has been around for, as the minister said, I mean, it apparently even preceded when I thought there was an issue. So you have to have an institution with strong internal controls. But as long as you do your due diligence, I think you're fine. And in fact, the only entity that I had any real concerns about was the one that had an
difficulties.
issue. So, I mean, we stopped using them from 2012. So, anyway, the bottom line is that the system. This is nothing like what happened in the past. I think it will found to be a very simple example of fraud. That's my expectation.
Let me ask you directly.
Yeah.
It's not systemic.
No. The minister said that today. He was asked that exact question, Minister of Finance, and I believe him. I was actually asked that exact question by some U.S. investment.
No, but you know the importance. Not buttering you up, but you speak from an independent point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a financial. Yeah,
sure.
I'm an independent. We manage an independent fund, and I'm a financial sector guy. And actually, I'm a former stockbroker.
Good.
I started a stockbroker for some company called Grace Kennedy.
Really?
Many years ago.
Many years ago.
So I have, so basically, I am in the market.
Sure.
From an institutional perspective,
those words are helpful.
And a journalist perspective.
Where do you see this year going forward? What do you see as the expansion prospects of the capital market? Who's likely to be involved? What are the horizons?
I actually think, well, put it this way, before this particular event, I thought that this would be the coming out year again. In other words, we've had a tough few years of the the COVID period and the related COVID period. So we've had 2019 was a good year. Last 3 years have been, well, obviously 2020 was a bad year, and even though there's been a recovery, you're still just getting back to where we were in 2019, frankly. So I actually thought, well, this year would be the year when we would see a positive stock market performance again, which we haven't seen. Well, it's been up and down, right?
Yeah.
And I still think that, by the way. I think this will turn out to be a blip in the sense of, you're going to have a tough U.S. economy over the first half of this year, but unlike in past times, I think we're less vulnerable to a U.S. recession, even if it occurs, which is not 100% certain yet, than we have been in the past. So I also wear an economist hat for various entities.
Well, let's interrogate that, because normally...
Let me borrow it one. Even though the average, and I'm using words that the average ordinary Jamaican don't have the money to get into stock market, his bar expression, his market expression, his market to his colleagues who are not involved financially has a lot to support or not support the development of stock market. And so therefore we want you to talk to them, because they need to be able to say for us, for the stock market, for the stockbrokers, for others, what the message is when they hear that a storm has just passed over. They want to know what to calm. Where do we go?
I think that's actually a good analogy. When you had some of these tropical depressions recently came through,
yes.
And you said, "Oh, it's not a hurricane, right?" Yes. So the analogy I would use, I think this is just a tropical, kind of depression. You're gonna have some, you have some wind.
Sure.
But it'll pass. Uh-huh. The infrastructure is nothing much. Some trees. A few trees fell down. Mm-hmm. But I don't see this rocking. This is not the hurricane that we've seen in the past.
I don't want necessarily what you see. I know what
that's
you
what I'm trying to use your analogy.
I want
yes.
to say to those who are carrying a message, who are not even participating, but carrying that message of stock market around the place. And what you are saying, It's a storm, man. A few trees blow down. We can cut it off the
That's
road
exactly
and keep
right.
going again.
Hope
That's
so.
exactly right. You have it right. That's what I'm saying.
How do you view the impact of the American economy there? I was
Well,
surprised to hear you say.
Unusually, look, I follow the economy very closely and globally, and I have been doing that for a very long time. If you want to learn more about it, you can read Keith Collister in the Jamaica Observer, which I've been writing for a long time
man.
now. So you can, if there's one thing I specialize in, it's the economy. And what I would say is, in the past, when we've had these economic shocks of the U.S. recession, the expression used to be, if the U.S. catches a cold, we get flu or
pneumonia.
whatever, right? But this time around, I don't think that would be the case, and I think that's because this is a different type of recession recovery than previous times. In other words, what happened in the U.S. The services sector fell off a cliff, and manufacturing goods, did okay during not great, but okay during COVID. In fact, what you're going to have is a rebalancing in the U.S. I think. So you're seeing a decline in, they bought enough stuff during COVID, right? What they didn't get enough of was experiences and human contact and people. So that rebalancing, I think, will benefit us. So unlike during the COVID, when basically we, of course, we're dependent on tourism, etc., that took us down 10% in GDP. It is even possible that we'll avoid a recession this year, and I would never. And even if the U.S. economy has a small recession, and that would be.
It wouldn't be. You don't expect it to be contagious.
No, and that would be the first time that I can remember. And you guys can probably remember longer that this would actually happen. I'm not saying it's an absolute certainty.
No, I understand.
But I'm saying that there's a more than even chance, in my view, that unlike every single incident of a U.S. recession, which, by the way, is not even 100% certain, but it could happen in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
And there are some signs there's certainly signs of weakening of the economy there. We might avoid that. And if we avoid that, then we'll really be able to talk about resilience, as Minister Clark talked about.
We really hope so. The productive base of Jamaica, though, which is in fact fueled by the capital market, needs rapid expansion.
I agree with you 100%.
Narrow.
I agree with you 100%. We need to diversify the economy. We need to do that as soon as we need to get very serious about it. I'd love to have another conversation. That would be an entire conversation, because by the way, I'm also part of the CARIA, which is the Caribbean Alternative Investment Association, so I'm a director of that. They're here, Private Equity Association, getting finance to
those sectors which have been underserved.
And so we can have that conversation as a separate conversation.
Well, we better. This man's son is a Minister of Agriculture.
Well,
and
we can have that conversation too.
That is an era. That is an area which is completely underserved.
I just want to say quickly that don't leave those who don't have big cash
out of the plan.
They are the one who spread the news.
Well,
that educating that part of the population is vital to the development of anything in Jamaica.
Well, I tell you what.
Last word from Keith Collister.
I tell you what. As a chairman of a pension fund, I entirely agree with you, and we need to educate and that's my plan for this year. Particularly coming out of this. Situation is I do plan to start that education process internally, and I'm happy to do it externally.
That's
as
great.
much as you want me to do.
Keith Collister, thanks so much.
Yeah, man.
Director of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce.
Nice to see you.
Happy to be with you.
Been a while.
Yes.
All
the best.
Sure.
This is the Bridge 99 FM. This is the Public Eye covering the Jamaica Stock Exchange Conference for 2023. Stay with us for the Global Connection with Irie Jam after the break. Soon come. This is a Global Connection with Irie Jam Radio in the tri-state area of the United States. We'll soon be joining with Irwine Clare. For now, we're happy to continue with our coverage of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Annual Conference here at the Pegasus Hotel in Kingston. I'm RonnieThwaites. The Honourable Pearnel Charles Sr. is our co-host. And we welcome Jai Waterman, Chief Executive Officer and Enterprise Architect of Block Station. Hello and welcome to Jamaica.
Thank you very much.
Since we're all part of the Caribbean, can we own you and claim you?
You can claim me. My parents are from Trinidad.
Really?
And in Toronto, if somebody asks you for where you're from, even though I'm born in Canada, everybody responds of where their parents are from.
Of course.
So you can
Isn't that
claim
nice? Can you continue that? Will your children, you think, have the same sense of connection with the Caribbean?
At least my generation, definitely yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the next generation.
You have to make sure, you know, as best you can, because we depend on the connection. So tell us about Block Station, because that technology that you were describing to me, and you're going to tell again, is critical to the modernization of our capital markets.
100% critical to the modernization, as well as critical to bringing confidence to the market. So back in 2014, when we saw what all the different crypto exchanges were doing in trading these different assets, I looked at it and I said, these are securities. These are supposed to be traded on the stock exchange. And so we built out the entire capital markets ecosystem for the stock exchange, for the broker-dealers, for the regulators, the depository, the issuers, the investors. So one powerful platform where everybody can plug in and have transparent, trustworthy access to the information that's trading on the platform.
What's been the success of the effort, of the vision that you've had?
So our first success was actually with the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Back in 2019, we signed our agreement after putting us through a grueling one-year pilot. So well tested. We got all the feedback from the exchange, the brokers, the regulators. We worked with everybody very tightly. And now we've got master agreements with organizations across the globe. Stock exchanges in Nigeria, across the Caribbean, New York. We're moving into other regions in Africa as well as Central Eastern Europe. So
Jai, spell it out for us. What have you added to the Jamaica Stock Exchange? What has your technology given?
what I would say is once the Jamaica Stock Exchange digital asset platform launches.
Digital asset platform.
The digital asset platform. So once this market launches, what's going to happen is you're going to see an influx of issuers. What we've seen is there's a huge wave of companies that want to have their securities on the blockchain. This is no doubt about this. And we have central banks and the largest custodian banks all across the globe are adopting blockchain because they know that this is how the issuers want. They want to tokenize their assets, right? So what we've
help me as we go. They want to tokenize their assets.
Right. That means
there's question marks about that. Digital currency and its fault lines. Speak to that.
All right. So
how is this different?
We have digital currencies, okay, such as Bitcoin, which are decentralized and is supposed to be used like a currency. Then we have the central bank digital currencies,
right,
which are issued by the bank.
Indeed.
By the central bank.
Which are gaining prominence now.
Right.
Okay.
And then you've got the tokenization of assets across the globe, such as mortgage-backed securities, real estate, stocks, bonds, which brings more transparency and more trust to the market and creates an immutable ledger that nobody can cheat. And this provides the most trust and the most confidence and completely, mitigates fraud. So when everything is transparent for everybody to see, you're already preventing the fraud from happening in the first place. If something does happen, then what we have is a complete audit trail of everything that's transpired from now up to the inception of when it started. So again, the investigation becomes very easy, very transparent in order to resolve issues.
You need to send that message a little more to the diaspora. And the bridge is setting the stage you can walk across the world, because a little hurricane has passed through Jamaica and blown down a few trees. And we want you to help us to tell the world that it has not shaken Jamaica. It has not shaken the stock market. It has not shaken your program. And, forget the little talk. Let's get on with the business.
How deep does your scrutiny, does your technology go, though?
Well, what I would say is one of the most important things is it provides the regulators with real-time information to be able to act on.
Good time, real time.
Real-time information. We don't need to wait 3 months, right, for the quarterly reports for somebody to submit to find out that something's gone wrong. If you provide the regulators with the tools, which is what we've done, we've provided them with the technology so they have real-time information, real-time insight in terms of the transactions that are happening. If they need to go and monitor something and look into, for example, was the KYC and AML done correctly with this broker-dealer, they can see that from the systems that they have with the audit trail of what's changed and who's changed it. So everything, again, becomes truly transparent, access to the brokers, access to the investors. I mean, if the investors don't have real-time information of their accounts and what's going on, you've got a big problem, right?
The people are fearful of that. And so what I want you to really stress is that the availability of technology, that they can sit where they are, don't listen to everything they hear, but look at what is available before them.
And the individual investor has to have as much access as the brokerage house.
To their own account.
To their own account.
100%. They need to have their direct, transparent access. And the same thing with the regulators, same thing with the stock exchange, and same thing internally within the broker, right? If it's not internally accessible by the broker's compliance, they can't govern their own organization to find, the bad actor within there.
You know what I love? Here's a man of Caribbean origin who still owns his region, his native land, and who is bringing the height of technology and best practice back into our scene here in the Caribbean and giving it an integrity and a confidence that's important. Jerry Waterman, that's great. Thank you so much for joining us. Keep up the relationship with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Appreciate it.
Happy to have you.
Take back to where you are abroad, the Bridge 99 and our connection, and fully to them.
100%. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks very much for joining us. All the best. Jai Waterman, Chief Executive Officer and Chief Enterprise Architect at Block Station. We're joining our friend Irwine Clare at Irie Jam in the tri-state region in New York City. Irwine, greetings.
Greetings, and best of wishes to both of you who have the privilege to be there at the Jamaica Pegasus. Of course, this hosting this very important stock exchange conference, which has a lot of implications and a lot of concerns of persons in the diaspora who are not at home, especially in light of transactions there.
If you have a small money, you can send it, and you make a big money.
Yes, that is so true. But you must remember too that persons invest based on their confidence level. And whenever that is challenged, you will have some reticence on their part. And I think that we have to be in the kind of operational mode that we continue to project Jamaica as the place to invest, and that our systems are secure. But we still have to deal with the issues of hand, Ronnie and Pearnel.
Please recognize that the Bridge 99 is where all of this is happening.
And so look at our guest. We welcome Mr. Warner, President and Group CEO of Massey Group. Welcome, sir, to Jamaica. We're going to adopt you and hold you.
Happy to be here.
happy that we're linking you with the diaspora today with our connection in New York City. What's the confidence of Massey in the Jamaican capital market? This is a nervous time for many of us, for many of those listening to us from abroad. But you seem to be abounding in confidence.
Yeah, something? I actually didn't realize until I came here to Jamaica the extent to which this incident has upset the apple cart. I heard about it, read about it in Trinidad, and it seemed like you had a bad actor. There was a loss relative to the size of the capital markets in Jamaica. To me, it's a drop in the bucket. It's happened with a major international celebrity, so it brings a lot of attention. Clearly, there has been something that slipped through the cracks. But in business and in life, stuff slips through the cracks. So what I've seen is an amazing response in the sector, as well as from the government through Ministry of Finance and on a regulatory basis. So the speed with which regulatory reforms have been announced here in Jamaica compared to the time frame in which the incident occurred, I think is record-breaking.
That's very important for us to hear that from somebody like you.
Yes.
And we agree.
And so our confidence in the capital markets in Jamaica are absolutely not shaken by this incident.
Good to hear.
We are, we work with a number of the institutions. These are high quality, high caliber organizations.
Yes.
And it is, and also the regulatory, in my previous life, I worked at McKinsey.
Yes.
And I worked as a consultant to FinSAC in the restructuring of the financial sector for many years with Patrick Hilton.
You're seeing the fruit of that.
And I'm seeing that. And so your Financial Services Commission, the new strength of the BOJ, it's actually top class in the region.
Good for us to hear that.
I'm this would be corrected for. And what I love about it is that it's being used as a lesson, right? And we're going to make improvements from here, and we'll move on. So this does not shake as a publicly listed entity.
Perhaps the most important statement we've had on this program. Very, very significant. Massey, your company is becoming a regional strong person. You're increasing your investments in Jamaica and more broadly in the region. What's your vision? Why are you doing this?
No, it's a great question, and I would humbly suggest that we are really quite strong in the region already.
Yeah.
And our success in the region and our appreciation and strategy of focus has given us this quiet confidence. Mia Motley talks about a Caribbean confidence that, in many different ways, we from the Caribbean punch above our weight.
Yeah.
Whether it's, different sectors, sports, literature, et cetera, And we think there's a real opportunity for us as a corporate from the Caribbean to punch above our weight on a global scale. And so our strategy of focusing on 3 portfolios that we know well: integrated retail, gas products, and motors and machines.
Integrated retail.
That's supermarkets and food and pharmaceutical distribution. Gas products, that's the LPG,
the
industrial
ideal
gases like
one.
oxygen, acetylene. And the third one is motors and machines, so car dealerships, car rental, industrial equipment like Caterpillar, tractors and stuff like that. Those are the 3
very
things
diverse, very diverse.
Very diverse, but at least things we know very well. And there's a long history of doing that in the Massey Group. People try to encourage us to do other things, and we used to be a conglomerate. We used to be in a lot of other businesses. We've sold a lot of those businesses and currently redeploying the proceeds from that into these 3 major investment portfolios.
Yes.
So you ask about vision. We have a new vision. Our new vision is a global force for good, underscore global.
A global force for good.
An investment holding company with a Caribbean heart.
Mr. Robert,
I love that.
Let me say this here. Let me tell you this. This Caribbean heart is strong right here. We have 3 lobes of that heart.
That's what we're all about. And that's wonderful to hear.
I'm sure our colleague in New York is saying not 3 lobes, 4 lobes, because he's a master of that too.
Absolutely.
What we want to make sure of is the communication between technology and the generation coming.
Yeah.
Right? There was a gap.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it is being filled out by you guys who mastering it. Make sure that education and technology is the way forward, because that's where the development is.
Absolutely.
The bridge is there with you.
Yeah. Where does Massey go in the next 3-5 years? What along those 3 lines or 3?
Along those 3 lines, investing. Yes, continue investing here in Jamaica and the Caribbean, but also exploring other geographies. So we just bought a chain of 7 supermarkets in Jacksonville, Florida. And we'll be going wider and further beyond.
A Caribbean company.
Yeah, man.
Yes, that Caribbean heart is now entering into the supermarket
Absolutely, man.
in the metropole of Florida.
Yeah, man.
Listen to me.
You heard what he said about yeah, man.
Yeah, man. No, but that is marvelous. That is marvelous. That's good.
So let me tell you something. A quick thing.
Yeah.
It turns out that everybody loves our Caribbean heart.
Of course.
We go down to Colombia, they speak Spanish. Yeah. No hay una problema.
Yeah.
They love our Caribbean heart. I used to be a diaspora. We miss that. Yeah. There's a coldness, there's a formality about working in the United States, Canada, etc., UK. But we miss that warmth that we have and we experience when we're here.
Yes.
And we have got the essence of that bottled into how we lead, how we manage, how we care. for our people, our communities, and our countries. And that, my friend, unleashes real enthusiasm in people, makes people deliver more, give them space to be more creative, contribute to strategy and new ideas and improvements, and you get better performance of the business.
Could I just
Hold on, I ain't finished the cycle. Better performance of the business, more profit, more that we can share with our employees who can build their own wealth as part of the process and continue to invest in their societies and their families.
Ronnie want me to tell you that production.
Yeah. What about I hope the Caribbean
people.
productive capacity can match your opportunity.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
We
we're
have
counting on it.
Yes. No.
Right.
And that involves all kinds of linkages
Exactly,
and
exactly.
connectivities, which you're prized to give.
Absolutely.
That's
We
wonderful.
had conversations this morning with folks from Grace talking about opportunities as we expand in supermarkets to
Grace.
benefit from
Yes.
their products and their production in the United States that we could now start to put through our supermarkets. This is one family, is one Caribbean.
I get the feeling
Gentlemen,
that I'm not hearing effort of production
Yes,
to produce.
yes,
I get the feeling of more distributing
yes,
rather than creating. Well,
Yes.
Tell me something on that.
yeah. So let's understand something. There are people who are manufacturers and producers. We make gases.
Yes.
We make oxygen, we make carbon dioxide, and we're good at that. And we're going to continue to make the things that we know how to make. But as a large corporation that has a great distribution expanse, we will work with other producers to help them get their products into markets.
That's what I want to hear
Yeah.
because
All right.
if you are distributing the little that is producing to the little people, the price cannot reach it.
Absolutely.
So we have to create production.
You ever heard
so
about
that
Massy
you can
Nudge?
distribute.
You ever heard about Massy Nudge? We have an initiative where we are working with young entrepreneurs, small businesses, to cultivate them and cultivate the products that they're producing so they could be distributed in our supermarkets and beyond. We actually have the Sandals Foundation as a board member of Nudge, and they too are on board with trying to help promote and develop more, call it Caribbean content that we could distribute within our islands and beyond.
Who owns the Massey Group?
Massey Group is a publicly traded group of companies that is owned by thousands of shareholders. There are some pension funds. There are some large mutual funds that have, blocks. But we have tons of individual shareholders, and we're probably
Across
one
the
of the most
region.
liquid. Yes.
Across the region.
Across the region, probably, yes, still clearly more dominated by Trinidad and Tobago,
Sure,
because
that's
that's
where
where
you
we've
start.
been originally listed.
Mhm.
But brought a lot of Barbados shareholders over to the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, which because of the foreign exchange challenge that Trinidad and Tobago has been a little frustrating, to be honest, because it's hard to trade in and out of our share and get other currency to expatriate your funds back. So that's part of listing in Jamaica. You don't have that challenge. We're trying to get more shares listed here in Jamaica so that
That's good. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, man.
But this is the basis of a true regionalism.
Absolutely.
This is the basis of cementing the relationship between all of us,
Absolutely.
This is great. Let's hear from
Absolutely.
Irwine Clare. Irwine,
Thank you very
you've been
much.
listening to this. What
I
are you hearing
have-
from Mr. Warner?
Well, good words. Global force for good and Caribbean heart, and that is great. That is great wording, and it feels good. Very proud of Massive because it represents a Caribbean entity that also is making inroads in the Caribbean community in the diaspora, and I think a lot more will be expected. A quick question I want to ask Mr. Warner, though, as it relates to the whole situation of the and the merger of those companies that provide such an integral commodity to Jamaica. One would get the sense that it's almost like a monopoly, and people usually have a disdain for monopolies, especially in today's market. Do you care to just expound on that a bit for us, Mr. Warner?
You're talking about the potential IGL acquisition that is
Yes,
waiting
sir.
on.
I think
Yes,
so.
sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. We have a similar market structure in Guyana, where we do have a fairly significant share of the market in LPG and industrial gases. And consumers get fantastic service, great prices, and we're much more efficient. And certainly in Jamaica, one of the things that we'll be able to do, particularly in the industrial gas space, is to actually show up supply. At one point in time over COVID, I think you guys remember, you had an oxygen problem. Terrible problem.
Oh,
right?
Lost life.
One of the other acquisitions we're doing is we're in the process of purchasing the largest oxygen production plant in the region. And so we will have vertical integration into supply. And so you won't have that challenge. We are putting down a plant at Massey Gas Products. There's a plant that IGL has, and we will have source supply from Trinidad as well. You'll never have an oxygen problem in Jamaica. So I just to respond, I think it's a fantastic opportunity for the employees of both organizations as we expand the applications and uses of LPG in Jamaica, but also you can count on getting greater efficiency. And there's competition. FESCO has just raised funds to expand its operation in this space. You also have Petcom in this. You have enough people to keep us honest if you think that we would be inclined to do any form of gouging.
Irwine Clare, you got your answer. Mr. Gervais Warner.
One final question, Mr. Warner.
Sure.
As Massey makes its expansion to the diaspora, the tri-state area, where the highest concentration of Caribbean nationals outside the region exists, what can we expect to hear from Massey, whether it be Massey as a brand or the products that it wishes to share with persons in the diaspora?
Find some supermarkets for them to buy.
Yeah. So I think if we find some opportunities in the supermarket space, we would be there. But I'd love to find better ways to connect the diaspora in the I was a member of the diaspora in the Tri-State area. I lived in New Jersey for 6 years.
Indeed. Well, there you go. Listen, a global force for good, an investment holding company with a Caribbean heart.
That's
we love that.
You got it.
All the best to you.
Thanks you very so much. It's a pleasure always talking to you.
A pleasure being on the bridge with Mr. Gervais Warner of the Massey Group in the Caribbean and indeed broadly in the diaspora. This is the Public Eye with the open mind on the Bridge 99. We'll soon come back. We're at the Stock Exchange Conference in Kingston, connecting your investment aspirations and the good hope for the Caribbean region. Soon come.
We welcome you back to Irie Jam 93.5 here in New York. And of course, we're connected with the Bridge 99 FM in Jamaica. Broadcasted live from the Jamaica Stock Exchange's Regional Investment and Capital Markets Conference being held at the Jamaica Pegasus under the theme Regional Capital Markets Reimagine, Achieving the Impossible. We are now hoping to join with RonnieThwaites and Pearnel Charles live there at the Jamaica Pegasus.
We're here, and while we connect with our guests, Irwine Clare, I think we need to ask you straight. What is the mood among your constituency of events in the financial markets in Jamaica? Is there anything that needs to be cleared up? Are you accepting the assurances that are being given? Or is there are people jittery in ways that can have a negative effect? Talk to us.
Well, concerns. Understanding that these things do happen in markets of the sort always still remains a fragile one. We're in the midst of still canvassing and reaching out to folks to invest in our systems here. Having the brand that's involved with it, Mr. Usain Bolt, has put it to another level. So of course that will then cause additional angst and concerns. Remember now, these are folks who are away physically from their funds. They're not here in Jamaica where they can drive up to the bank and say, here, I need my money now. So of course, whatever messaging that emanates from either be the ministry or those charged with informing our population as to the confidence factor of our systems here, it has to be stepped up a bit more for those who are in the diaspora. And I say that.
I want to pause you because I'm bringing Pearnel too. Because when we are told that everybody must do due diligence,
yes,
of course you must do due diligence about your investment. But when you are in upstate New York or in downstate New Jersey or in British Columbia, there is a limitation to the amount of due diligence that you can do on a daily basis. And therefore, in institutions like the Bridge, opportunities to have the kind of assessment of market conditions that just on this program today we have been able to offer that is available at the Stock Exchange conference. This is your lifeline. Am I not right, Mr. Clare?
You're absolutely correct. And that is why, we've heard of stories of people concerned that I may have to jump on a plane and go find out where my money is. And there's doesn't mean that they have an account at SSL. It's just in general, because you must understand this, there's no distinction to the average person on the road, whether it be a commercial bank or investment entity. They all look at this, you guys have my money, whether it be a bank or any of these institutions. So it does cast an aspersion on all financial institutions. And I must say credit goes to several. I have some accounts in Jamaica, and I see notices coming from them how secure and safe they are. But then, hey, when you turn around, there goes another person at another bank, they're doing something. That kind of helps to erode the confidence. What our leaders have to do, Ronnie and Pearnel, is to continue to step up and provide information to occupy the vacuum, because within those vacuums, a lot of stories are being spiraled because of lack of information. That's how it goes now. That's what social media does on anything in life today.
You got the message, sir.
I just wanted to add to Irwin what you're saying there, that part of what the bridge is doing today is to help diaspora between Canada right across, you in the US, straight South America and Britain. The truth is, there's a little hurricane and we have to control it, because people who are more concerned have no money involved, but have confidence that they can sell.
True, but you see, Pearnel,
the people who are investing in there have more confidence than those who are talking about it. So
well,
we have
to. But Ronnie and Pearnel, that's one and the same, Because at the end of the day, it's confidence in the market, whether you're in it or you're out of it. And
that's
that confidence level also stretches across the board to those external entities who are also looking at Jamaica. Remember, the average person is saying, my God, if they can do that to Usain Bolt, what are they doing to me? That's it. That's it.
Look here, hearing somebody like Mr. Jervis Warner just now, who heads important conglomerate in the Caribbean and in extending into the diaspora, speaking passionately and unequivocally in the way he did. That to me is frankly, it is on a par with anything the Minister of Finance or anybody else can tell us, because here is a man whose money and who is accountable in a way that others are not. He is saying, look here, we will overcome this. We're going to manage it. We're going to ensure that we learn from it rather than be defeated by it.
Indeed. And I think that's where more for public figures need to be stepping up to the plate and reaching out in finite ways to our constituents. Because, like I said, to just sit back and say that we should not be enamored by rumors. Rumors is part of our marketplace today, and rumors can causes things to happen. But rumor can be managed if the information flow from those who have the information, the authority to do so. We keep the messaging on point, and we need to do that because we're all in this together.
That, in my opinion, is the right word. We have to send a message that those who are transmitting it, even though they might not be financially involved, they are consumers, and they send a thing around that if it's not controlled, it destroys all of the investors.
I don't know who can control social media, but the point is well taken. Let's take a break and let's move on. Soon come back on the Public Eye. Thanks very much for being with us. This is the Bridge 99 FM. This is the Public Eye. I'm RonnieThwaites. The Honorable Pearnel Charles Sr. is with me as a co-host, and we welcome Mr. Oliver Mayer, the Consul General of Jamaica in Miami. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Happy to be on the program.
Well, indeed. You have a constituency, if I can use that term, which is almost as big as the whole of Jamaica when you think of the mass of our people.
Yes.
And not only Jamaicans, but Jamaican lovers.
That's right.
In Florida.
That's right.
In general.
Yes, because everybody would like to be Jamaican.
Everybody is considered, most of them are considered Jamaicans, even if they are not from this, but they're Caribbean.
Correct.
Where is your scope of responsibility? Just for Florida, or you go wider?
Well, we actually cover 13 states.
Mercy.
Yeah, so it's huge. Florida, which is actually now the fastest growing state, because we have lots of persons moving from the north to the south.
Yes.
So we cover Florida, we cover Texas, Georgia, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Arkansas. We go as far west as Arizona.
Wow.
So
you have to learn to bilocate.
That's right.
No,
That's
listen to me. One of the key elements of confidence in the capital markets is communication.
Correct.
Pearnel has been making that point repeatedly. That's what we stand for on the bridge. How does the average person of Jamaican concern get their information? How can we help to improve trust and confidence? Talk to us.
Well, you know, as Consul General, they invite us to almost every event. On an annual basis, I've been to maybe 400 events. I mean, literally, some days you're going to 5 and 6 events. And it's a good opportunity. I try to bring the good news taking place back in Jamaica. So I'll give persons an opportunity to hear, for example, of our GDP growth, the recovery we have had in tourism, reduction of our debt from 149% to 96%. These are some of the things that the diaspora perhaps would not be aware of, because bad news tends to travel much faster, and people will watch the videos taking place with unfortunate homicides, etc. But when it comes to some of the good news, we have to be the ambassadors of that and encourage that narrative, because we also need to put the same level of energy behind a good news taking place back home. And so we use every opportunity we get, both at events and then virtually as well, to spread the news of what's taking place in Jamaica.
It's very important to attract investment in Jamaica, investment in stocks and shares, in bonds and other instruments from the diaspora. Many people are doing better or have some surplus income to save. How do we do that? Are we being intentional enough in that regard, Oliver Mayer?
Very good question. You know, as an avid investor myself, I'm literally on the market every day in my lunchtime, watching the stock market. And
watching the Jamaican stock market.
The Jamaican stock market, you know, and trying to get into the latest IPOs.
Yeah.
And what I do at each event, I encourage investment. And I will ask persons, how many persons, for example, are invested in the Jamaica stock market? You'll see a few hands go up. At the end of my presentation, I ask again, how many persons would like to start investing in Jamaica? And you'll see about 40% of the room, their hands will go up, and I will get persons to get the information and follow, because it's one thing to keep talking the same narrative over and over again, but we like to close some sales, close some actions, and get persons started, because we've seen other countries do it. Other persons are investing in Jamaica. Yeah. Why not our own nationals?
Yeah, that's very important. But I'm just reflecting, Pearnel, on the changing role of the diplomatic corps. Because you're really not doing consular duties in the formal sense of passports and I'm sure you do that
we
too.
We do that. That's our 9 to 5 bread and butter issue.
But then you have to be much more than that.
That's
you have
right.
to be an ambassador for the cause of Jamaica.
That's right.
All of its varied forms.
That's right.
And I understand that Jamaica in Miami means a lot of other Caribbean people.
That's right.
Who comes there seeking information. Right. But let me ask you. Yes, you travel from Miami right across the thing. What kind of consistent assistance do you have at government and other industrial people level to transmit to these people? How do you get it? Just by radio technology or television technology? Is there any other way?
Well, you have, of course, social media is huge. I mean, almost anything you put out right now goes through that speed of light. We have a number of Jamaican radio stations that have done fairly well, expanding, so that also gives us an opportunity. A bit of television, but hitting the ground. And what the good thing, we have over 100 different philanthropic groups. They have, especially our alumni associations.
Yes.
they have regular fundraisers. So our opportunity to engage with the diaspora
Very
is
good.
significant.
But let me ask you this. The first generation diaspora people, it's one thing.
Yeah.
What about the second and the third generation? It must be a preoccupation of you, Oliver Mayer,
That's right.
to make sure that the spirit continues
That's right.
through the generations. How does that work?
And you speak about the different roles of in diplomacy. I mean,
Yes.
I try to attend some of the non-traditional events, like the reggae concerts, Inner Circle and Shaggy and those guys, because that's where our second and third generations are.
Yes.
And I get an opportunity to speak. We encourage them to get involved in some of the associations that we have, because we always need young people. One of the initiatives that we have taken place at the consulate is we have a citizenship drive. So we encourage our second and third generation to become Jamaican citizens.
Very good.
And we have a nice welcome ceremony for them, where we sing Jamaican folk songs, nostalgic folk songs, and we welcome them in and welcome them as part of our Jamaican family, and they look forward to it.
Yes.
Well,
that's great. And
gentlemen,
the more you can inform us in Jamaica of the aspirations and the needs of the diaspora, is it better that we can look at a productive prospect for that? Because let's go, Irwine, you talk.
The situation. Oliver Mayer is recognized as what we'd call an activist consul general. And by no means do we use that to differentiate negatively against others. And I say activist because he integrates himself into the area, into the genre, and to the local economy where people can actually relate. What Oliver didn't tell you just now, gentlemen, is that he just doesn't speak when he goes to events. He's also many times tagged as part of the entertainment. He either sings, dances, or whatever. I say those things to say this, that the importance of consulates today far outmeasures just issuing passports. And I think it's a good mandate that they have, because they are truly the number one flag bearers of our nation in the diaspora.
That is being transmitted is to the third and fourth generation. I don't want us to miss one person want to come back to Jamaica to know what breadfruit and Jamaican patty and round leaf and what the Jamaican really offer. So that connection, we want to keep it. And it has to go to the third and fourth generation.
Yes. Well, this is the concern we have, because it can be, our corner is dark if it becomes a dwindling prospect.
Oh, yes.
And therefore, my question to you is, look at the role you play, and others will play in succession to you. How does Jamaica represent itself, broad itself out, have that transmit what Mr. Warner just told us about Massive having a Caribbean heart? What's your dream for us in the diaspora, in your diaspora, 5 years, 10 years' time, Oliver Mayer?
Well, my experience has been as Consul General the last 4 years that there is a strong love for Jamaica, especially among first generation. But I want to see a great appreciation for for example, our reggae artists. They're doing such a great job in terms of promoting our culture. I give an example for Inner Circle, who is in our community. They do quite a lot of work. They bridge. They make bridges with several other communities. And when you go to the Inner Circle house, you see several top artists assembled there. And this is very important in holding our young people together.
So culture
because
is a vehicle of
culture is extremely important in
and
solving many of the problems that we have right now in Jamaica. Even the conscience of our nation, if we go back to the traditional reggae music, the values that are taught, I think this will help to permeate among all our people a gentler society, one based on values and attitudes, that we can greet each other, we can work out our problems without stabbing up each other. I want to big up Irwine, my good friend in New York. Thank you for the role that you're playing. When I go to events, many a times they ask me to sing a song and I do, or throw a little DJ and I do it.
Well, I tell you, that's marvelous. Why are you here at this conference, Oliver Mayer?
I'm passionate about investing in Jamaica, and I was invited as a speaker. And every opportunity I get to encourage somebody to invest, whether it's $1 you have or you have millions, start to invest in Jamaica, invest in your homeland, and once it starts there, then you become an ambassador of sharing the good news of your country. And I believe more and more, I personally have to continue to spread that message right throughout the length and breadth of the diaspora.
I love your spirit, so.
Love it, my brother.
All the best.
Thank you.
I just want to congratulate you
Yes.
based on what I know about you and what you are doing in the United States for Jamaica and the Caribbean. Continue. It's a good job, and the bridge is helping.
When you get that kind of pedigree, bigging you up is big news, you know. Oliver
Thank you
Mayer,
so
Consul
much.
General for Jamaica in Miami. Irwine Clare, a final word from you?
Well, the saga continues. You know, the contribution today from the Stock Exchange and what you guys have presented to us here in the diaspora is worthwhile information. These are the kind of information we have to continue to spew, because if we don't, as I said, the vacuum that exists will be inhabited by what we see going on in social media today, the innuendos and the accusations and the speculations and all of that. It does not bode well for us as a nation. And I also want to urge our leaders and those in charge of whatever agencies and entities here, they must make sure that their messaging resonate with Jamaicans outside of Jamaica who do not have the luxury of physical access to whatever they may choose to do and decisions they may choose to make. And remember this too, that many of these folks that have gone through onerous processes to become members of whatever financial institution, and to have this situation take place, it does shake a bit. But the hope is here that with the positive arguments we have, we will mitigate and will continue to ensure that the confidence level in Jamaica's financial industry is maintained.
Of today, Irwine Clare of Irie. Much for your company. Oliver Mayer, thanks again. Pearnel Charles, grateful to you always for the partnership, and to the Jamaica Stock Exchange we give copious thanks for sponsoring today's edition of The Public Eye on the Bridge 99. Remember, this station devoted to making sure that the diaspora is well informed and well motivated towards the native land. Thanks Lafayne, thanks Sean, thanks Jeffrey,
Right.
thanks Shauna,
that's
and
just
all
about
those who have made
gives
it
a wrap
possible
here
today.
on
Thanks so
Irie
much
Jam
for today.
Nancy.
We take you back to studio now.